One of the best ways to learn about a city is to attend their commission meetings. In this video, I'm going to recap the Pompano Beach City Commission meeting for March 22nd, 2022. I'm Alicia Daniel Hall, attorney and realtor here in the city of Pompano Beach, Florida. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Please subscribe and click on the bell so that you'll be notified as soon as I upload new videos about living in the city of Pompano Beach. So this month's evening meeting was nowhere near as juicy and exciting as last month. We got things started with a proclamation. The month of April will be Autism Awareness Month in the city of Pompano Beach, then rolled into an actuarial presentation. If you're not a numbers person, the actuarial information tends to be pretty dry and boring. The purpose of this report is to determine funding requirements for the city's general pension. Since we don't know when an employee is going to retire or how long a person is going to live, there are some assumptions that are made in creating the report. Here you can see that there was a 1.2% annual increase for active members since 2011, and there was a 4% increase for 2021. Additionally, there's a 2.7% annual increase for retired members since 2011, and a 0.2% decrease for the year of 2021. Next, you'll see that there was a 3.3% annual increase for the average salary since 2011, and a 9.4% increase for 2021. Additionally, there was a 3.8% annual increase for average benefits since 2011, and that is with a 3.1% increase for 2021. Do note that the increase in pay for 2021 is mainly attributed to COVID pay incentives. As far as asset returns, the market asset return is 24.76% versus a 7.50% expected return. In other words, they've earned 17.26% more than expected. The actuarial asset return was 10.6%. This is in contrast to the 7.5% expected return. So the actuarial asset return is 3.10% more than expected. Finally, there's $22.8 million in unrecognized gain. Those funds will be used to offset future losses or potentially decrease future required contributions. So the first item on the regular agenda was a resolution to approve the city staff's letter of no objection to a Plat amendment. This relates to a John Knox Village Plat. It's a Plat that was approved on March 23rd, 2021. And what we're doing here is simply adding a notation to the Plat that describes John Knox Village's entitlement. There were two additional companion items that were discussed later on during the meeting. The next item on the regular agenda is a resolution approving the U-Haul North Pompano Plat. This is on the south side of Northeast 48th Street and just east of the FEC railroad tracks. The actual property address is 1120 Northeast 48th Street. This is a 1.62 acre lot located at 1120 Northeast 48th Street. And what they're planning on doing is demolishing the current 4,029 square foot building and replacing it with a new building that is going to have 15,922 square feet of warehouse and 2,970 square feet of showroom. The resolution was approved with a unanimous vote. The third item on the regular agenda dealt with rezoning property on the north side corner of Northeast 16th Street. What they're doing is rezoning the property from RD1, that's two-family residences, and PDI, which is Planned Development Infill, to just being Planned Development Infill. A representative from the property owner was present, and he discussed two items specifically. Number one, regarding neighbors' concerns about cut-through traffic. The owner will work with the adjacent property owner to install speed bumps and anything that can be added to reduce cut-through traffic on his property. Also with respect to the 24th Avenue calming measures. The property owner is amenable to adding any necessary or required traffic calming measures to 24th Avenue. Regarding the traffic calming measures, he clarified that these would be implemented if the traffic study recommends and if approved by the city. So they're not going to be out there doing it on their own. It's only going to be done if the traffic study recommends those revisions, and also it's got to be approved by the city. When they took the vote initially, Vice Mayor Perkins and Commissioner McMahon both opposed it. However, Vice Mayor Perkins asked for the motion to be reconsidered, and she subsequently changed her vote from a no to a yes. Next up was an ordinance to rezone the property located at 3055 Northwest 4th Street. This is a city-owned lot, and they are rezoning it to allow for the building of a single-family residence, which will be built by the Office of Housing and Urban Improvement. Next is an ordinance to abandon an easement. This is an easement located along the northern property line of property located to the south of Racetrack Road, between Powerline Road and the CSX Railroad. This was a 13-foot wide sidewalk and landscape easement. There is still going to be a sidewalk here, but what they're doing is, instead of having the sidewalk on private property, it's going to be on the public right-of-way. Then we had a resolution authorizing city officials to submit an application and apply for funds from the State of Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and it's a revolving loan program that is created for drinking water facilities. We will be applying for those funds. We also had a resolution to approve execution of 4 LED lighting agreements. They're going to cost $1.2 million, and this is an agreement between the City of Pompano Beach, Florida and FPL. They're going to be converting the lights in the Highlands section of Pompano Beach. In total, there will be 728 lights replaced. No new easements are going to be needed. FPL will own and be responsible for maintaining these new lights, and we will pay for the electricity. Also, this is a Pompano Go Bonds project, and it was approved. Then we moved on to an ordinance that is amending the definitions of mixed income and mixed use text amendment in our ordinances. The ordinance deals with affordable housing, and all of the amendments will apply to all 5 districts. So all 5 districts are going to benefit from this change in the definitions. We have another GO bond project. This was an ordinance to allow city officials to sign a 3rd amendment to the contract with Burkhardt Construction. This specifically deals with streetscape improvements along A1A from Sunset Lane to Atlantic Blvd. They're doing streetscape art and some sidewalk resurfacing. We moved on to human resources and an ordinance to allow city officials to sign an extension and modification of the employment agreement with the city manager, Gregory P Harrison. Tom Terwilliger stood up and provided some public commentary about this particular ordinance. Specifically, what he was pointing out is there's a difference between this contract and prior contracts. In the past contracts, according to him, and I have not reviewed any of these contracts, but according to him, in the past, the city commission was able to hire and fire these positions, and they could fire with 30 days notice. At the end of that 30 days, the termination would be complete and salary would be ended. Under the new contract, the employee is entitled to 5 months worth of pay, or 20 weeks after termination. So he just wanted to point that out because he didn't know if the city commissioners were aware of this difference between prior contracts and the new contract. Next up is an ordinance authorizing the proper city officials to execute an interlocal agreement for the creation of the Metro Transportation Engineering and Construction Cooperative. This would be an agreement between the City of Pompano Beach, the Broward Metro Planning Organization, the City of Hollywood, and the City of Plantation. And what we would be doing is working with the co-op, the MPO, and any other local municipalities that want to join in, and we'll be able to coordinate on regional projects and pool the resources rather than compete against each other for resources. Also, as a group, we'll have a much stronger bargaining position when negotiating for resources and bids. Item number 25 on the agenda for the commission meeting is an ordinance approving and authorizing the proper city officials to sign a 5th amendment to the agreement for police services between the City of Pompano Beach and BSO. What this particular amendment does is it appoints someone who's going to be responsible for community outreach. Now, Vice Mayor Perkins did have an issue. She agrees that we need someone to assist with community outreach, but she doesn't believe it should be a person who is working under BSO. The item was approved. Item number 26 impacts people who own rental properties in the City of Pompano Beach. This item, which was approved, expands inspection requirements of rental unit owners upon the sale or change in ownership, revises the short-term rental permit application registration requirements and review procedures, clarifies prerequisites for revocation, and aligns violation and enforcement procedures by expanding the required legal disclosures to rental occupants. Item number 27 was postponed to the April 12th, 2022 agenda. Items number 28 and 29 are those companion items to the John Knox Village matter that we discussed earlier. So let's start with item number 28. John Knox Village requested approval of a text amendment, LAC, of the zoning district that was created for John Knox Village. The proposed amendment complies with their plan. The text amendment allows John Knox Village to change unit types. So they're going to have 1,224 dwelling units. The master plan will determine what the unit types are going to be. Here is a picture of the master plan. In this chart, they are showing the existing entitlement versus what is proposed under the master plan. So you'll see that there's less demand for villas than garden apartments, and so they have changed those numbers. It also acknowledges an increased demand for high-rise units. I also wanted to point out that more than half of the property is recreation and open space. Major deviations to the master plan are going to require planning and zoning board approval, but minor deviations can be done at the staff level. And here we have a breakdown of what a major deviation is and is not. Currently, major deviations include everything except 1. Changes to address technical considerations that could not reasonably be anticipated during the approval process, and number 2, changes that have no effect on the approved plan, including but not limited to changes in driveway location, minor shifts in building size, configuration, or location, structure, floor plan, and facility design modifications for amenities and the like. Proposed explicit major deviations are changes in building size, location for buildings along Dixie Highway, orientation changes for buildings along Dixie Highway, changes to the primary internal roadway, and shifts in any building location for buildings that are greater than 10 stories. Here is a little diagram that shows the building heights in color. Please note that this master plan only applies to properties owned and that are a part of John Knox Village. So any properties that are on land that is adjacent to John Knox Village but not in John Knox Village will not be impacted by this plan. Finally, item number 29 is the resolution accepting and approving the John Knox Village master plan. It was approved. The next afternoon meeting is going to be held on April 12th at 1 p.m. and our next evening meeting is going to be on April 26th at 6 p.m. If you would like to review any of my prior Pompano Beach City Commission recap videos, take a look at this playlist. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about living in Pompano Beach or are interested in Pompano Beach real estate, feel free to contact me. My contact information is right here, as well as in the description box below.